We are infinite.
Let's do this! Come on!
Mounting!
It's too damn hot for a penguin to be just walking.
All right, I'm struggling this morning with buttons and technical difficulties, and
You have one job.
that was the second time we start. Yeah, the buttons look the same because they're the same colours. So
That was green, though.
is it meant to be green? It's meant to be red. Red means we're recording, so we're good to go. So,
This is an absolute shambles.
well, I mean, maybe this is where we start. We're 11 episodes into the podcast, where we thought it would be.
Still haven't quite nailed it.
We still haven't quite nailed it, but this is the thing, right?
Hey, whoa.
this
Speak for yourselves.
This is learning a new skill. It's just practice. You're gonna have times where you fuck it up.
You're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah. So, how
We're
have
going
we
to be here for
found?
hours, aren't we?
How have we found the last couple of months worth of podcasting, lads?
My episodes have been really good. You two need some work.
Oh, I've had some elite guests and we've had some elite conversations.
Well, that's it. We're a product of our guests, really. So the less episodes we can have of us talking shit, the better.
So clearly struggling this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these kind of episodes, I think, is something that I want to build into being a every 4 or 5 a week part of it. And for those watching and listening at home, if you enjoy these chats, once we get our shit sorted at the start, let us know.
Once you
I
get your shit sorted, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take full responsibility for that because I pressed the wrong button. But I think these ones are important, and then we build out the other weeks with good people doing good things, brilliant, wonderful members of our community.
And I guess the aim of this one is to test the waters with 3 people on the podcast, because this would be a first outside of the Fusion podcast that we had earlier in the year.
Yep.
So
First
we'd like to explore getting a few more guests on the podcast, how it's going to work, the logistics of it. So this is just a little bit of a dabble, dip the toe in the water, and
Dip the dough in.
the dough.
And
Get this bread.
I think the plan was just to talk about what's been happening and talk about how things are going and talk a bit of rubbish. But we've the Virtus family has come in strong with bulk questions, which we've got a fair few of them to record. So we will we'll play those questions as we go. But for the first 3 months, first 11 episodes or so that we're up to, what's been your favourite moment of the rebirth of the podcast?
For mine, just being on a podcast. Like, I never thought I'd be interesting enough or have enough cool shit to say to be on a podcast. So it's pretty cool to sort of sit back and just put your thoughts and your words out into the world, and whoever wants to hear them can sit back and wrap their ears around them. So it's been pretty cool. And then you're on the gym floor and people are coming up to you saying, "Oh, I liked your podcast." And
It's good stuff.
yeah.
Bit of a dopamine hit. Yeah, that's what you've liked.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with
It's
that.
like a double tap. It
addicted
just
to
takes an
dopamine.
hour and some editing to get it going. What about you, Mitchell?
We just crave more.
I have enjoyed just sitting down with people. I've done 3. People who I don't really get to have that conversation with outside of sitting down in a podcast. So
Yeah. Always found that's the best part of podcasting is just when was the last time you sat down in front of someone for an hour and just had a conversation about them and what they're doing and things like that. And it doesn't happen in day-to-day life. So, it is a bit sad that we have to do it in this format, but it's also I'm grateful that we have a format like this to be able to have these conversations. But that's not my favourite part. My favourite part is that our podcast is 11 episodes in, and I think I've only done 3 or 4 of them. So
finally.
The best part
We made him redundant.
is exactly. The best part is when I get to listen to our podcast as a punter. Like I whacked yours and Ali's episode up on the big screen on Monday morning and got to listen to it. I didn't have to edit it because Beck did it. Get around her. Shout out.
Shout out,
girl.
Rugrat. Good job, Chucky.
Didn't do the summary and didn't schedule the Podbean episode, but we're working on it.
I did notice that, but I didn't want to bring it up
So
today.
I fixed it. We're going to crash course. To be able to do that and listen to it without having had anything to do with the production of it or the recording or anything was phenomenal. And I guess being a host sometimes and being a participant in the podcast, you would experience it differently when you rewatch it or re-listen to it. So that's been brilliant. So I'm looking forward to more of that.
Do you listen to your own podcasts?
Nah.
I watched mine and Ed's. Partly was because I wanted to identify which areas were valuable so that we could make some more content around those particular parts. But I don't know. Over the years, I've done a lot, and I used to listen back to them every week. I kind of get excited for it. Now I like waiting 3 or 4 weeks and then listening to it because you kind of I should have said that, or you kind of go, oh, I was pretty switched on to that day because I wouldn't have thought of that then, or it's an interesting. I don't know, it's a whole different experience.
For me, it's like I was there. I've already listened to it.
Yeah, but you
live.
Like it's important read. Like there's some books you need to read a couple of times till it sinks in, and there's some questions or some advice. Like some of the things Ali said the other day, it's just I think there's immense value in touching back on it and re-listening and
yeah, that's different. I might go back to it in like 6-9 months, but not in the next month. I'm not going to go back and listen to it because I had the conversation. So
I think early on for you and your development would probably help.
I did listen to my first one or two.
Good, get around you. What are we most excited for the podcast over the next couple of months? Who is it? Is there a guest? Is there a particular episode? Is there something you want to do? Because I guess the plan would be like a 25, 30 episode season, have a week or two to chill out and then get back into season 4.
Launch, let the dogs out. Just, yeah. Do you like that one, Mitchell?
Every now and again the Hamilton comes out and it's phenomenal.
Just the guests. Just a broad range of guests.
Who do you want to have? Who's your top 2 that you're looking forward to interviewing?
Darren
you
Moore.
Don't have to have asked them. Darren Moore, yeah.
Me and you were going to do Darren Moore.
Yeah. I'm going to do him good.
I never want to hear that in my ears again.
I'd like to get my coach, Alexander Sandalis, on. I mean, he'd be a fascinating man to talk to.
Get him on. Mitchell?
Yeah.
I don't think I have any specifics because I haven't really thought of it, to be honest. I enjoy just taking the people that don't want to be on the podcast.
Why do you hate the Virtus?
No, it's like I don't... I enjoy having conversations with people, but I don't necessarily need to do it like in a podcast way. Like the 3 that I've had on the podcast, 2 probably didn't want to do it in the first place, and Ali was fantastic. So for Indian Jazz's episodes, I really enjoy that because you see them kind of bring their walls down, and I don't normally get to have that conversation. So I don't know if there's anyone that comes to the front of mind for either of you two in that space, but for me, I haven't really thought of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually we do.
Yeah,
we do need to get the Speak Share boys on. Laffer's just sitting there shaking his hoodie, so we'll do that at some point. You really should have videoed that part to send to him, but anyway. But yeah, there are a few people in our community, and I'm actually, and I was wondering whether this was just a cop out because I'm doing people I'm comfortable with, but I want to re-interview some of the people that were really pivotal in when I first started the podcast in like 2017, like the Sam Kecks of the world and Andy Van Der Beek and those kind of people who are really important, much loved parts of our community and people in the community who what they were doing and where they're at. Snakehole Boys, what they were doing, where they were at 5 years ago has changed so much. But I think a lot of the lessons and the learning and the growth areas would be, they're cumulative from what they were talking about then. So I think that'd be fascinating. But ultimately, it's just nice to be here. Nice to be here with you two on the double couch. I like it.
I feel very, very far away over here. It's kind of comfy there.
Yeah, we'll work out exactly what our setup looks like with 3 people, and we'll kind of build that into it. But I guess the main focus for this episode is going to be having a chat, going through some questions from the Virtus family.
I haven't seen these questions either. Well, didn't look yesterday on purpose. Because what you see is what you're going to get.
Yeah. Going raw.
Shock me, right? Shock me.
Raw dogging.
Raw dogging, yeah. Shout out. 200 bucks.
Shout out. Fucking hell. Speaking of raw dogging, let's go with Paul's question to start off with. You ready?
Is that because you just had a kid?
Not what I was thinking at all, no.
So this is a question... Actually, I don't need a... He explains it
Yo,
really well.
what's up, Pretzelhead? So with the programming, I was just curious if you're still doing things the same way now as what you were doing back in the day when we were doing your program that turned us into beasts. Like, say for example, you would start us off with a warm-up, get the limbs moving, get a bit of movement, and then get us onto some explosive exercises, get the CNS working, and then warm up into some heavy lifting, and you might do 2 sets, and then you jump into your working sets, and then all your accessories, and then some conditioning. Like, are you still following that format, and what's the idea behind it, and do you have other sort of structures that you follow, and why? Like, I really want to do plyometrics and stuff. That's the sort of shit I like doing when you were coaching, but I don't know where they sit within a standard session. So yeah, that's what I mean, bruh. Anyway, love you, son. Speak to you soon.
I thought you said he explained it well.
Oh, I thought
He waffled.
I thought he did. He waffled a little bit. But
Very loaded question. And two, I like the addition of the voice bites. Very professional on the
you liked
podcast.
it? Yeah, good. So maybe that becomes a part of our potties that we get, our Virtus family to ask some questions. I guess, I'll answer the 17 questions that was part of that question, and then you two can kind of do your little bits and pieces. But in a nutshell, Paul and Porky and Jesse were two people I used to train early on and would basically just try shit with. So a lot of my coaching philosophies, and especially around programming, were based off just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what stuck with them, and then using what I was learning at uni and learning what I was learning coaching and internships, and just trying with them and seeing what worked. And in a nutshell, the answer is yes. I'm still using a pretty similar structure, right? We got movement prep into some sort of CNS priming, or technical technique work, into a main lift, into some supplementary lift, into accessory, and then maybe some conditioning at the end. But the obvious caveat to any programming discussion is it depends on where the person is and it depends on where they're going.
Counter question: if Paul came to train you tomorrow, would you follow the same structure? That's what he's asking.
It depends.
For him right now.
For him right now, it depends exactly on what he wants to achieve and exactly where he's at, right? So if he mentioned he loves plyometrics, so in terms of where that fits, that would usually fit in the earlier stages of a program when he's fresh and when he's not fatigued and when he's moving well, which obviously, as we lift heavy, as we add volume, as we cultivate fatigue in a session, the quality that he would elicit in a plyometric would decrease as that goes. So, it's...
Can I jump in and ask a question of you for the people that may not know all this S&C jargon?
What is a plyometric?
No, well, okay, that's another question, but you use the word, your main lift, your supplementaries, your accessories, for the audience that might not be around that lingo.
Good question. And I did a little, impromptu programming masterclass with a couple of the interns the other day, and it's nice to revisit some of that stuff because you kind of go, all right, well, what is actually important? And like in a nutshell, my sessions, and by extension our sessions, because we do effectively a similar structure, there's some sort of breath work to start off with, which is the goal of that is to change the way your nerve system is behaving and maybe reduce some stress or get yourself into the right headspace or to allow us more access to change how the rest of your body's behaving. Then we do some sort of self-massage to improve the way the tissue's behaving. And then what we would call explosive or technical part of the warm-up is either to move fast or to move a particular way, is to improve movement patterns or improve movement patterns done quickly or improve force production, speed. A main lift would be your 6 main lifts, so your squat, your bench, your row, your deadlift, your overhead press or your chin-up or variations of those. So we break them down into, I guess, a movement pattern. So lower body push, upper body push, lower body pull, upper body pull, vertical push, vertical pull, etc. So we can break them down that way. Your supplementary lift are your derivatives of those big 6 movements. So if we're looking at a squat being a lower body push, your split squat, Bulgarian split squat is a single leg lower body push, or a front squat is a derivative of a back squat. You could argue that they're both main lifts, but it's easy to get lost in the weeds of the semantics. And then your accessory work is your isometric work or your
pipes.
Isolated.
Did I say isometric? I meant isolated.
I got you.
Is your isolated single joint exercises that might be for a sport athlete. It might be improving an area that's not working well, or it might be working on just feeling good, or it might be improving a movement imbalance or something like that.
Or Laffa doing his Nordics and his Copenhagens.
I hope you did your Nordics and your Copenhagens today, Laffa. And then the conditioning side is like the energy system development. It's building, which all exercise is energy system development, but it's building in capacity into your ability to show up consistently and perform at a high level repeatedly, which might be low long distance, it might be anaerobic power stuff, it might be repeatability in like a football and netball scenario or something along those lines. So in a nutshell, yes.
And which you're always going to sprinkle in last, so you're not, I guess, fatigued for your max force, max velocity.
Yeah, and your session, like your program over like the whole program has a focus, but at the end of the day, each session has a focus. So you might have a strength session with a conditioning bias. So it might be a main lift, a supplementary lift, and then you shift straight to conditioning. Or it might be, movement prep into conditioning. It might be a conditioning focused session. So, program design is one of those things that you can talk about in 30 seconds, or you can spend 4 hours nutting it out. And at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that you're getting the person that you're coaching closer to where they want to be.
As Mitch taught me
I'll give you a 10-second answer. It doesn't fucking matter as long as you can justify why you picked it, because what the three of us will do will be different. And it doesn't matter because we're going to get the same.
I was just about to say, as Mitch told me in the internship, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
You can.
And
as long as you move the needle.
Yeah.
Like, this is programming in a nutshell. Like, so Porky, if you love plyometrics, fucking do more plyometrics. What's the difference between a plyometric and a jump?
So plyometric is represented by a ground contact time less than 0.2 seconds?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Good. Look, you go. Good question, Porky. Anything else to add for programming?
No, I guess you can just compartmentalize it. You'll have heavy effort days, you have dynamic efforts. You don't have to just train the one thing on the day.
Bit of conjugate.
Yep. It doesn't have to mean you just train the one thing on the one day. It's
shout out to Louis Simmons for all the
little elements. Probably not going to listen to it.
Huge listener.
Probably doesn't know what a fucking podcast is.
He died, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
That.
Not good, but... All right. A podcast favourite, because he always puts some questions in.
Hey, boys. A couple of quick questions.
Chicken.
What is your favourite thing about Virtus?
Are we going to ask the second question as well? Or?
We'll go one at a time. So, favourite thing about Virtus, mine is the people. Full stop. It's just wonderful people. Like, we are spoilt by the quality of people that want to pay to spend time with us, in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's not work.
It's a good problem to have.
It's not work.
Turned to be a morning person, which is probably better.
Yeah, good.
But my answer is, of course, the people. Like that's why we're all here. But to provide something different, it's a place where, for me or us as a coach, we can do whatever the hell we want, and we can play around with things so that we can trial, error, and then pick and choose what we want to pick depending on our contextual environment or our contextual person. It's a place that we can experiment with the things that we love, that for the most part clients don't really give a shit about S&C as much as we give a shit about S&C, but we get to employ that to people who move the needle, and they adapt in a way that this is why they're coming here. They're getting closer to where they want to be.
For me, like, it's the people. I was bored as batshit the other night at home. I didn't have work. I'm like, might just go in and hang out.
What am I doing with my life?
I
came in last night to train, and good vibes, good people.
What else am I going to do?
It's a cult.
The first part of that is cult, and the second part is culture. All right, next question. Good chicken.
What's your favourite thing to do outside of Virtus?
I've never heard him speak like this.
Very pensive
Yeah.
questionnaire asking, isn't he?
I feel like he's either just woken up from a nap or he's high as a kite. Either other.
I think he was just trying to be articulate.
Takes a lot. So the air's a bit thin up there. After you, Ty, I answered first last time.
So
what's the question? Yeah, I knew you were going to answer that. I knew you were going to.
Outside of Virtus.
I don't do much outside of Virtus these days anymore. As I said, I was at home bored as batshit the other night.
Yeah.
Don't know many people in the area. I've just moved here, not recently.
Get around him. Tyler needs some friends.
So I just pop my head into Virtus.
How long are you going to use that excuse for?
It's been 12 months.
It's been a hot minute. You think I'd have some mates by now?
It's been a year.
I like to spend my time catching up with friends and family in Geelong or Hamilton, go up to the city. I like to catch some live music. I haven't gone to many AFL games this year due to my other footy commitments. That's how I like to spend my time. Play a bit of tennis.
Oh, yeah. That's ace.
Kick Wace's ass. We'll ignore that.
Moving on. This might, come as a shock to most people, but I actually really enjoy my other jobs as well. Work a little too much, accordingly.
You reckon?
The workaholic.
No, but again, no one cares as much about S&C as what we do. but this place allows me to trial things that I go and take at other places, and then I do some teaching, I do some online stuff, I do some, athlete-based things. So like I enjoy taking and being away from this environment, but then taking the things from this environment to others, and just like sprinkling that in. And pretty easy, obvious one is probably golf for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to start getting into golf.
Yeah.
You've been saying that for a year now too.
Yeah, it's true. Virtus Golf Day, 11th of November. Get around it because it's been epic.
It was going to be set up right now, but we're podcasting instead.
Might be set up by the time this podcast airs. So
probably not. Oh, Sunday? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Sunday night. My favourite thing, it's just hang out with the girls. Hang out with the girls, Banksy, KP. Outside of that, I like my own time. So whether it be like zoning out watching a movie or golf occasionally, I need to play more often.
Can't wait to kick your ass on
footy,
Saturday.
yeah, you will. Footy is obviously a big part of my life. So we're coming to the pointy end of the season, which is exciting. That's good stuff. Like probably my favourite thing, dinner and a movie. Just good food, good company.
What's your choice of dinner?
Movie. It really depends where we're going and what I'm feeling. But what would my go-to be? Mexican's probably my go-to. Good steak. Yeah. Yeah. Something a bit different. Anyway, I think there was 3 questions. Let's find out.
And a random one would be, what is a unpopular opinion of yours? Cheers.
Oh, here we go.
I
know what I was going to say.
I spoke about this on my...
Veganism is dumb.
Thank you.
That's a great Tyler impression. I spoke about mine being like recycling is dumb. But there's more context on my podcast, so go listen. What are your 2?
Yeah. So we've got recycling's dumb, veganism's dumb. What's yours, Mitchell?
I don't think I have like a big global controversial opinion. I have lots of little ones about death. Jesus, that's morbid. I don't think I have a big global one. Like I just have little controversial opinions about a lot of things.
Yeah, Say something that's going to piss some people off.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did I say? I said something to Beck before. It was quite funny.
You called her Jazz.
No, I called her a few things, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, she said, I'll take it like this. I said, you can take it however the fuck you want. I'm still going to say it. So, honesty is probably my most controversial opinion, is the ability for me to be honest about how I feel about something.
Obnoxious and honest.
And then I think that's
synonyms in this.
That was in response to when you called her Jazz and you said, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, he's right.
Here's one. Life is meaningless.
Yeah,
is that controversial?
Okay, controversial opinion. We're not as important as we think we are. Move on.
It's not really. Yeah. Good chicken. I think
not controversial. That's true.
Laugh. His face goes. Oh, okay.
That's not what I want to hear on Are You OK Day.
We need a celebrity cam. It's just.
I mean, it's the first time we've had an audience, which is nice. All right, let's roll through these questions. Some of them are short, sharp, first answer. Don't think about it. Some of them are a little bit longer, more well thought out. And then we've got a bunch of ones that I'll read out from our current crop of interns.
If it's a good question, we might spend a little bit of time on it and actually unpack it.
You guys can decide that.
Yeah.
Because some of them aren't high quality questions.
If you were a plant, what plant would you be and why?
I see where this
is going. And there it is.
I see where this is going.
What kind of plant would you be?
I don't know.
Cactus.
Didn't you hear? I fucking hate plants.
You'd be a blackberry bush because you're obnoxious.
Why is a blackberry bush obnoxious?
I just say obnoxious because they spread and they,
I don't get it.
Cactus.
A sunflower.
Short and prickly.
That's where I was going.
A sunflower because you just bring joy to people.
Yeah, and I like to stare and face the sun. Turn and face the sun.
I'd be an oak tree because I'm robust.
No, you're not.
I'm so robust.
This is off the
rails. You're falling
apart. Next question.
If you could go to Mars, what would you take to leave your mark on Mars?
I'd do a wee.
I knew one of you two were going to say that.
That's a good answer.
Oh, God. I don't know. If I was going to live on Mars, can I take a big blow up inflatable?
Oh, hello.
Just my head. Leave your mark.
How would
leave myself behind.
inflatables work in an environment like Mars where the atmosphere is
No, this is way too deep and contextual. No, we're not going down that.
Okay,
I'll take a flag with my head on it.
Well, I think that kind of question brings out the infiniteness of the universe, and you can't leave your mark. It's not possible. Like, legacy doesn't exist. You know, when no one remembers us 2 generations after we're gone. So, like, nothing. Just go and have fun because you want to go to Mars.
I think you're reading too much into it.
Maybe.
Can I just... What was the moon landing real?
Yeah, of course it was.
Oh, don't start him. Don't start him. This is... I told you, this is going to go for hours and it's already off the rails and we're 20 minutes in.
25 minutes in. All right, next question.
So, gentlemen, outside of the gym, what do you reckon that the number one priority should be for your health?
Good question.
Do something you like doing.
Marky boy.
And if you don't fucking like it, don't do it.
Drink 3 litres of water every single day.
My answer is it depends on what you don't currently do. So someone that doesn't drink much water and sleeps well and eats well, water is the low-hanging fruit. And if you drink lots of water, have lots of sleep, but don't have fruit, low-hanging fruit is the low-hanging fruit. Clever. Whatever it is you're currently not doing, but the triangle of health, or health with an F.
The triad.
The health triad is 3 layers of water, 8 hours of sleep, and high-quality nutrition.
I'm really starting to lean into stress too.
Maybe it's a box.
I can make that a quadrant.
Maybe it's a hexagon because there's training, movement, and stress modulation.
We can make a mind map.
Moderation. I said the wrong word.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a mind map. So welcome to the Virtus hexagon of health.
Chronic stress is pretty fucked, as I've found out. I might do a stress modulation
Pentagon
podcast.
is 5. Hexagon 6.
Watching you two interaction.
Now, speaking of the Pentagon,
Yeah.
did Bush do 9/11?
Oh, Jesus.
What is happening?
Jet fuel cannot melt steel beams, but it can impact the structural integrity. So, yeah, that's a conversation for another day, I think.
I'm tapping out of that one.
These are all little conversations me and Matt had earlier.
Actually, you spoke about that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, at least we know what a pentagon and a hexagon are now. Yeah, I think we answered Mark's question.
Okay, so the muscle pain that I felt yesterday after the goblet squats, does that mean muscle growth, and should I chase it every day?
This is a great question.
No accents allowed, Tyler.
Yeah,
is that Shani Hodson?
That was a great question because, walked in, asked that question, said, I'm super sore. This is what so many of my trainers in the past have said, that this is what we need, this is what we want to chase. So I could bang on 8 hours about this, but you guys...
Context, our monthly challenge is max goblet squats in 2 minutes at 20% body weight. That's the quad feeling for context.
Anything on top of that?
No, you go. You look like you loaded up.
So I used to be in this frame of mind. I think a lot of coaches are in this frame of mind, like, soreness is bad. We shouldn't be chasing soreness. But, like, there are certain goals where it is okay to be a little bit sore. And that means, your muscles are a little bit damaged, and then it's enough of a stimulus to hopefully promote a bit of muscle protein synthesis, and you're going to eat, and you're going to sleep, and you're going to drink water, and everything's going to be okay, and you'll heal, and you'll get better and stronger. So, yeah, I don't think we need to chase soreness every single session, and so that it's impossible to back it up and get into the gym and do good things. But I don't think a bit of soreness is the worst thing in the world, no.
I liken it to banging your head against the wall. After a period of time, it's going to hurt less, but is it still good for you? Probably not.
Fair enough. I look at it slightly in a different way than that.
It's simple.
I look at two things, right? I look at repeatability. Like, that is, like we talk about consistency and showing up and all that kind of stuff. And in a nutshell, that is repeatability. It's your ability to show up, train, create a stimulus, adapt to that stimulus, and repeat over and over and over again. The more repeatable something is, and obviously we want to increase certain parameters around that repeatability to increase the challenge as we adapt. But if that soreness impacts your ability to show up to the gym and train the next day, or to do this amount of sessions in the week that you want to do, then it's going to take you backwards. It's not going to make you better.
It's like a hip thrusts versus RDL sort of approach for like growing your glutes. Like RDLs may be better, or conventional deadlifts, because you're getting greater length through the glutes compared to a hip thrust where it's in this like ultra shortened position. But hip thrust, it's going to be more repeatable. You could train hip thrust 4 or 5 times a week, nice and
what do you
heavy,
like doing, and what are you more likely going to show up to the gym and do?
Yeah.
For majority of people and majority of athletes, I think fall into this category. It's like, what do you like doing? What's fun? What's going to help you show up and help you do it? So like we all understand how general adaptation syndrome works. For those that don't, Google it. GAS. I might actually do a video on it because that was my answer to Shaney talking about stimulus or stress, and then the alarm phase and supercompensation phase, and then how adaptation works. And I like looking at that. If we look at that graph, if we understand how that graph is, maybe if Beck learns how to chuck a photo in a podcast, we can whack it up just here. It's probably not going to happen.
We'll provide a crash course now that she knows what a crash course is.
Yeah, we didn't know what a crash course was before.
What's a crash course?
Basically, we want to see stimulus, compensation, adaptation, repeat. Yeah, we want to grow our capacity through that process, and soreness can diminish that process, or can stop that process from occurring, and can lead to injury, illness, etc. if we're continually adding stimulus without the recovery phase. So that's a good question. Good from
Shaney.
What's a goal you have for yourself for the next 5 years?
My beautiful
Make
wife.
bank.
Make bank. Good goal. What does it look like?
Oh, me just diving into a pool of money. No.
Uncle Scrooge style?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. No, but yes. What does it look like?
Don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah,
We're
working on that.
Mitchell?
Don't know. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea.
It's not a bad place to be.
Take it as it comes. It's generally how I approach most things, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I mean, I have long-term goals, but that's not a. I don't need it in 5 years. I don't need it in 20 years. It's, hey, this sounds like a good idea. Do I want it in 5 years? I don't know. I'd like a Bunnings-sized gym, but a Bunnings-sized gym costs $18 million to buy the gym. So,
it certainly does. Yeah. It's mine. Mine's
I'd like to go back to America for 3 months. That's happening.
Well, yeah.
Just not May next year.
I'd like to travel.
Yeah.
No,
following year, don't worry.
Good. If any coaches are listening and you want to coach at Virtus, touch base.
We're firing Tyler.
Potentially.
Sawyer.
Felicia.
Mine are to not fuck up parenting as one. To not fuck up this place. Keep it growing and rolling and doing good things like we currently are. Win more flags at footy. And basically, my goals are all centered around like spending as much time with the girls over the next 4 or 5 years. We spoke about it in my podcast, but I want to maximise the time I spend before they go off to school and, high school and get jobs. And
Jeez, they're getting on.
Oh, mate. Just to one of the things I always remember a coach saying, like when I first started playing VFL footy, was like make the most of this because it will go quicker than you realise. And when you're young, you go, yeah, and I got plenty of time. And now I'm 30 and going, well, far out, life happens quick. And same thing can be said with the kids. Like Lucy's almost 3, Billy's 1. Like it feels like yesterday I found out they were pregnant. So found out KP was pregnant with
fucked
Lucy.
up.
Emotional, damn it. So yeah, it just goes so quick. Like I don't know. Can we talk about the concept of time for a bit, or do we not want to dive down?
Oh god,
I just think time is batshit crazy. The fact that like time is relative, which most of us would understand. You understand the theory of relativity, yeah.
Yes, I do.
But just for those playing at home. But like the thing that fascinates me about time is as you get older, each year feels like it goes quicker, right? Because relatively speaking, it's a smaller part of your life. So like when you're 10, a year feels like an infinite amount of time. Well, not infinite, but it feels like an infinite amount of time because it's 10% of your life. Whereas when you're 50, someone do some quick maths for me, a year of your life is 2% of your life.
I think it's actually a 2.
I said 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you're
Smart,
right.
quick maths.
Or you thought of the answer before you asked the question, like a mature age student.
While I was saying it.
Yeah.
Mature age student. Oh, Mitch has got some gripes about teaching at uni.
I don't have any, actually.
But I think that in a nutshell is fascinating, I think. So, life genuinely moves faster the closer you get to the end of it. So let's, not spend time... Let's spend time doing the shit we love with people that we love rather than wasting it with shit that's unimportant. Good question, KP.
Dream piece of equipment for Virtus?
Here we go.
I would like a cable machine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Find me one.
You can get a little
Doesn't
one you
cost
just put
too
in the
much.
corner.
Do you want a corner one or do you want like a double one? I want to get back to my Jets days, just fucking doing flies. Like,
I got
hard
it.
practice.
I got a better idea.
Yeah?
Yeah, the cable machines, but like single stacked ones, you can line them up. I'll show you later.
Oh, yeah.
They're good.
I'm not against getting a cable machine for the gym.
Space, consider it is what I'm getting at.
If you
Floor
remember
space.
listening and you want a cable machine for the gym, just pump the Virtus inbox on Instagram.
Yeah, so what we found out is you need to ask Lachie 800 times before he does something. So
Yeah, and then one day I'll think about it
He'll
as
crack.
it will be my idea. And
oh
I'll do
yeah,
it.
we know that. We know that. We know this is how it works.
Then, like, I
Just got to plant the seed, let it grow a little bit,
I think
and then
it's, and this is something for like talking about your finance stuff. It's like scarcity mindset versus growth mindset. It's like I always, like, early on in business, it was very much like we've got to save our shekels in case we need it on a rainy day. But what I've found, especially over the last few years, is, and there is obviously a limit to this, there is diminishing returns, but the more money you spend, the more money that comes in because you create space and you make things better, and whatever you put it, like us spending money on the what do we spend money on lately? The ice bath, for example, like hasn't paid itself back yet, but that using that space creates 40 square meters worth of extra goodness for us to.
I mean, we had a
enjoy
school
ourselves
group in the other day, and one of the teachers poked their head outside and then saw the ice bath, and they booked in recovery sessions.
You're welcome. Worded them up. Don't worry.
So like these are the kind of things that for anyone running a business or anyone like trying to achieve things like Tyler's trying to achieve or trying to grow areas, like don't be afraid to spend money, because the whole you got to spend money to make money thing is a cliche, but as we know, cliches are cliches for a reason. So let's carry on with our lives.
Glitchies.
Yeah, good. Anything else? Anything else you want?
What are your dream pieces of equipment? Surely there can't be a cable machine too.
No, cable machine would be up there. I actually, I don't know, my things aren't equipment, the things I want to do to the gym. Like I want to redo the floors. I want to reno the bathrooms. I would love a giant screen on the wall of upstairs, this side. I know we don't need it, but I would like it. So, yeah, there's no dream piece of equipment, I don't think. Like, thinking next year maybe is the year that we build a Virtus Allied Health / medical centre. Like, I'd love a doctor a day a week, like a GP for members to actually have a relationship with, rather than just going to a GP to ask for a prescription or something. I'd love a psych a couple of days a week. Talking through the potential options of, like, now that we've got multiple rooms, of how we could build a space that is actually all encompassing, like we set out to do 6 years ago. Like that's the stuff that excites me, rather than hip thrust machine or a belt squat or something like that. And obviously I love floor space, so nothing that takes up too much floor space.
Timing gates, force plate, enviro chamber.
Yeah. Enviro chamber?
Yeah, like hot cold. For like workout hot cold.
Mm.
Or like even like a hard barrack. Because who has that? No one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean the timing, the testing, all the testing equipment is something that will happen sometime in the next 3 to 40 months. Next question.
Might not be.
If the Olympics were to only consist of one event or sport, what would it be and why?
There's two parts to this question, so we'll answer this one first.
Is that Tom Panic? I had this conversation with him yesterday. Decathlon. You're a little dabble of everything.
Track and field.
Track and field?
Yeah.
But what?
Yeah, but what particular sport? Like, oh, sorry, what he did say sport there.
What event?
I was being generously and said track and field. Got to be fast. Got to be strong. Got to be powerful.
What's the Olympic motto?
400 meter hurdles is probably the hardest event you'll ever do. So.
Yeah. What is the Olympic motto? I actually don't know.
Optima Semper.
I just like
Frankston High, shout out.
Twitchy.
So the Olympic motto is Citius Altius Fortius, which means faster, higher, stronger. So I look
faster,
at that
run 400 meters higher, jump over higher, stronger, don't fall over.
Is there an event that does all three things?
Well, decathlon, but that's taking. Yeah, but that's.
Yeah.
If we're going even further, you can't just pick decathlon.
Yeah, but it does it does it in such like a structured way, and being a human isn't structured, and being a human isn't. It's chaotic and it's random. So I look at like the event I think for that is like, all right, what did early humans need to survive? Right, they needed ability to utilize tools. They needed the ability to connect with other humans, and they needed the ability to run long distances to hunt. What's an event that has all three of those things? Is there anything? Is there a team decathlon? What's the
400 meter relay?
400 meter
Hurdles relay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think track and field is the answer because there's teamwork involved. There's
You've got to express all these
technical, tactical,
all these patterns that make us human. Throwing, running, jumping. They are what make us human.
What sport? I got an additional question. What sport would you add to the Olympics that's not currently in it?
I think all real sports are in the Olympics. Sorry, KP. No, netball should probably be in the Olympics, but there's only like 4 countries that play it, so I think that's the.
Yeah.
I think
if every sport played every country, what would you include?
Every country played every sport.
Footy.
I think I said it the other way.
I mean, AFL. like the last finals week last week was phenomenal.
Yeah, but from a physiological point of view, it is the hardest sport in the world. What's another sport that has the demands of covering 10 to 15k, running at 30k an hour with contact,
crashing into people with a ball? It
doesn't exist.
Get it. No, it doesn't. So I think episode like 70 something of the podcast, Pulsey and I did like what's the best sport in the world, and we ended up with athletics versus gymnastics, and we picked gymnastics for some stupid reason because like now my answer would be track and field.
Yeah.
But it misses that hand-eye coordination and reactive part of the game that you run a 400, an 800, yes, there's jostling and stuff, but there's not that reactability that you need for football, netball, team-based field sports.
Yeah, I just, from a physiological point of view, I think AFL is the hardest sport in the world. It's not comparable to anything. And it has.
I mean, what's harder, playing a game of football or running a marathon? Like running a marathon's harder, physically.
Maybe.
But
if we're talking about a complete general sport that has elements of everything, in a marathon, do you have contact? Do you have to react to a stimulus? No, you've got to not fall over.
No, that's true.
It's overhead, it's on the ground, it's multi-directional, it's long distance, it's speed, it's contact, it's decision making.
It's a good answer. I don't think there's any. Yeah. Like you'd be hard pressed to find someone that maybe would have a sport that would come up against it, but maybe wouldn't be a clear winner.
Variant to the last question. What event represents the Olympics most, and why is it different to the last answer?
Well, I think the first answer would be the sport, and the second answer would be the event. So, like decathlon would be the one because it's higher, better, faster, which is the motto.
Yeah.
Altius, Citius,
Fortius.
I think that was
Optimus Semper.
The
Fortes in Fide.
Dream piece of equipment.
I already did that one. All right. Good. What question would you guys like to ask the Virtus family while I get the interns ones up?
So, look at me. I got nothing either.
Fair enough. All right. I've done Tommy's one. Beck, best advice for gaining confidence in yourself, specifically career job related, when you don't have a lot of experience?
Think about the person that you want to be or someone that you admire in your field and take actions that resemble that person and that ultimate goal.
We should put that on our wall.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a bit of an identity shift, isn't it? Step into that different identity.
Yeah. I think it's
shit that makes you uncomfortable.
Good answer. Yeah. Mitchell?
It's a very similar answer. Just go ahead first and work it out. Problem solve.
Yeah, I think that's the one. It's just do things.
You'll fuck it up and you'll be shit, but that's okay. You'll refine and you'll get a little less shit over time. And
you don't know unless you do.
Check out my reel from earlier this week. It's just life is about setting goals, fucking up, figuring out what you need to do better, setting more goals, repeat.
Of course, she walks out of the room when we answer her question.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I think it's all around just try things and know that you're going to fail and have a crack at stuff. Like Beck's doing a bit of business marketing mentorship at the moment, and I've been intentionally giving her things to do that I know she didn't have the capacity to do, and she's been leaning on us to learn the answers. She's been leaning on Google, leaning on YouTube, and like, what's the quote? It's like every problem on earth has a solution. If you don't ask for help, then you're not going to get any.
I mean, adaptation is task specific. You're going to get better at something, you're going to do that. If you want to get better at public speaking, go public speak. Doesn't mean you can't be shit at it.
It's like
That's how you learn.
It's like the people on the gym floor that say, I hate bench press, I'm so shit at it.
Do more bench.
Do more bench press.
Hey, Mitch, I hate running. How do I get better?
Go
You hate running because you suck at running, so start somewhere.
Specific adaptation to impose demands. Put that on a t-shirt.
Said.
That's what I said. How does mindfulness play a role in movement?
It comes back to breath, I think. Being aware of the space that you're currently in and what state you currently feel like you're in.
I think that
Proprioception.
That word awareness is like number one. If you're aware of and you understand the intricacies of how your body moves and how your body feels and things like that, and we obviously have certain movements that if you put yourselves in positions, it can tell you, like you can ask your body, hey, what am I feeling? Because you stand there, you're like, I'm feeling fine, but you put yourself in a pretzel, put yourself in a world's greatest, or put yourself in the bottom of a squat, and you can go, okay, well, I'm not as aware as I need to. So I think mindfulness is about building awareness, cultivating awareness into where you're at, what you need, how you feel.
No one knows you like you know you.
It's good quote.
I don't know what your hamstring feels like right now. You do.
It's true.
I can make an educated guess on some.
Yeah, and I think, but we can do screens to go, hey, well, this is why. And I think the awareness the learning is figuring out, okay, what does it, like being able to articulate what it feels, what you're feeling, and how it feels.
Yeah.
All right, this is from, those are good questions, Beck. Oh, I just got one more. You walked out when we were, answering the big one, so you have to watch back and make a reel of it. Favourite qualities about each other?
No, I fucking hate these guys.
It's all right, I hate me too, so it's okay.
Tyler can go first.
Oh, why did
pump us up?
Why did you do that to me? Well, I guess... fuck. Don't put me on the spot.
Just look him in the eyes. Tell him how much you love him.
Mitchell.
Vulnerability is strength, Tyler.
Yeah. I remember when I first started the internship, Mitchell, was late 2020, Mitchell took me under my wing, and then I was unsure about sort of asking you for a job here, and Mitch just kept giving me little nudges, like, asking for a job.
Seemed to work out pretty good to me, didn't it?
So he saw the capability and potential in me and sort of gave me that nudge. So if he never gave me that nudge, and I don't know if he gave you a nudge or not, but if he never did the groundwork, I wouldn't be here right now and in the best job I've ever been in my life, in the best position I've ever been in my life.
That's good stuff.
And I guess yourself, throughout the internship, when, because I'm not from the peninsula, I'm from a long, long way away.
Wait, really?
From a land of very long way away.
Shit, I haven't know that yet.
Locks looked after me with a place to rest my head.
Just here.
When I've had car troubles and house troubles and fucking financial troubles, every other troubles under the sun throughout lockdown, he's always just like gone above and beyond to sort of help me out and sort of make sure that I don't die.
Good from you, Mitchell.
Yeah. You're very morbid. It's back to just life's over. We're done. Okay.
It will be at some point. So
you live or you die.
Yeah, that's my point. Well, for Lachie, like you gave me a start in all of this, so nothing that I do now would have been possible if I didn't start here, which I guess comes from 2016.
Yep.
So like 6 years of being a part of an environment that you bring people together, but then allow us to do what we want to do. So that's, again, what I appreciate about you, and just like your ability to know moments, know when you need something, know when you don't. And that goes for coaches, clients, like anyone that's in your current space. So I guess that's come back to like being aware. Like you as a person are very self-aware, but also like for us, like aware of what we need. Like sometimes don't fucking come near me, don't touch me, and other times, okay, this is okay.
I get cuddled twice a year. It's good.
Yeah, and twice. Once on birthdays and one on a rainy day. Yeah. And then for Tyler, I guess like again coming back to like your self-awareness of like what you need or what you want is like a not necessarily a clear direction and a path, but like a cobblestone road to where you want to go. Like it's not necessarily a concrete one-way street. It's I'm going to take this when I need this. I'm going to take that when I need that. It's more of a what you want without really knowing what you want, and I appreciate that because it's seeing you grow and develop from the country kid from 2 years ago to now. Like in fairness, like you wouldn't be sitting. Yeah, exactly. You can take the boy out of Hamilton, but you can't take the Hamilton out of the boy. Like you wouldn't be sitting here if you weren't conscious of what you wanted. I guess like your ability to like pull triggers on the things you want, like to move 4 hours away, it's that's a big thing.
Yeah.
See, that wasn't that hard.
Warm and fuzzy.
We got there.
How good. You guys reflect.
Don't start crying.
You guys reflect my values a lot, and I think that's why.
Oh no,
such an important part of this.
We've lost him.
Crying's not a sign of weakness. Strong sign you've been strong for too long. Yeah, Mitch, just your consistency and your work ethic and your loyalty and your capacity to show up, regardless of what's going on. You've fucking worked too much and don't look after yourself enough. But
incorrect. I do now.
You go through stages of leaning back into yourself, which is, I think, massive. And golf helps. So play more golf. You're a better person when you're playing golf.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
And Tyler, same with Mitch. With you, and the reason why I'm so keen to do all those things for you is because you put yourself out there to, one, be a part of our community, and two, move for ours. In our society, it's not something that happens all that often. People don't usually just uproot their life and move. Like, most people grow up and live and die, if we're being morbid, in the same area. So I think you being able to go, I want to live on the peninsula, this is a place I want to be. You obviously connected with Virtus and our values and what we did. I remember I tried to get you a job at another gym. You were just like, I fucking can't do it. I'll do whatever you need me to do in the meantime. So
is that public knowledge?
That
like that? Yeah, that public knowledge.
I think we've spoken about it before.
The
but
specifics?
Nah.
Okay, shit, Jim. Then I'm glad you didn't.
No, it's just like it's a gym that didn't align with your values, and the way you articulated it to me was just like, I can't do that anymore. Like, I respected you more for that than I would have if you took the job and then tried to get a job here afterwards. But you're just hungry to improve and grow, and you make the world a better place, and you make our world a better place. So that's enough of that.
We both forced ourselves into jobs.
Yeah. There's the advice to anyone who's not currently in a job that they love is like, seek out people that are either doing it or doing something similar to what you want, and find a way to wedge yourself into their world, or to create your own version of their world where you get to do things the way you want to do them. I think it's like everyone is making shit up. Like, the world exists because other people decided to make things the way they were. So we all have the capacity to build and mold and change and adapt our lives based on the framework that people before us have built. So if you're not doing a job you love, or if you're not spending time with people you enjoy spending time with, or you're not in environments that make you better, find it, change it. You're in charge, because we're going to die at some point apparently. So anyway, all right, this is a discussion point we could talk about for 20 minutes. So I want a 30-second version for
I tried that before, and then you started talking about time or something. If you don't like it, don't fucking do it. And then you went on some ramble.
I mean, does time exist, or is time made up?
Here we go.
No, let's not talk about it. We're 53 minutes in. Speaking of time existing, right now we're leaning on the framework of time that we currently abide by.
You've already wasted 30 seconds. We could have been done.
Should the AFL, this is from Ollie, his star, should the AFL be structured like the EPL, with teams able to be promoted and relegated to lower levels?
So Franks and YC will go to the AFL.
Just don't get
North Melbourne will come down to the MPNFL. Get pumped by Red Hill.
The Hillman.
Ideal world, yes. Current world, no.
Yeah, that's hundreds of years away.
I think it's a money and population problem.
Yeah.
I think it's a facilities problem.
No, because if the money's there, the facilities will come.
That's what I was going to say. The facilities problem is a money problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is ultimately driven by a population problem of having 25 million people.
You stick Franks and Dolphins in the AFL right now, probably going to struggle. You end up with this revolving circle of the same three teams go up and down in its current state, which you don't necessarily get with the EPL.
So that was the question, because I don't follow it. What's do most teams that get relegated get promoted a couple of years later?
Kinda. Yeah, with the EPL, it's more, it's like player dependent. Or owner dependent, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's how much money your owners have. Yeah.
So it's money. Yeah, it's a money thing.
Yeah. So there's a team that's been promoted. I think it's to the second division. They might be in Nottingham Forest. Still have spent millions of dollars this, and they've started the season pretty well. But 3 years ago they're in Div 3.
Has anyone watched Wrexham United on Disney?
No.
Ryan Reynolds and Rob something from Always Sunny bought a team from Wales that's like they're trying to restore it to its former glory?
No.
I watched like the first 2 episodes. It's been great. I look at like so the AFL is obviously the governing body. I look at how state footy is run in different states. Like Laffer's spent time in the Waffle and 30 seconds. Yeah. The Waffle and the Samflu I think are run brilliantly. The VFL is obviously pillaged because of the AFL. VFL turned into the AFL, and the VFA kind of ceased to exist in the way it did. I think there should be a national competition and then a twos competition, and then a thirdly to that, which not going to work because of money. Thirdly, a national competition that has no affiliation to AFL clubs. So each AFL club has a seconds that run the seconds comp like they used to do, and then they have an 18-team national comp. And then the lower rung behind that is like local footy, and local footy should be. No one wants to travel 8 hours for local footy. This is part of the problem, but you could regionalise it so that there's Div 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in like the 4 different regions.
It's more of a cultural thing too.
Yeah,
like from an Australian culture point of view, like most people don't want to travel 8 hours, but you go to America, they're going to college games 10 hours away in a bus, living the best dream. So
yeah, that's true. So it could be something
culture
as
well
built in.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Discussion point. This is from Ollie as well. The importance of strength training, health, fitness for Gen Pop over 50 years individuals.
So you don't die.
There's a theme for today's podcast.
You want to tell us?
I mean, like,
I'm just nah.
In a nutshell, it's true. Like two risk factors to early death. I think I've spoken about this on the podcast before, but if anyone hasn't heard it, and this is a real for you, Beck. 2 factors to early death are low foot speed, so foot speed diminishing as you get older, and lower body strength. So basically, we trip a couple of times a day. If for everyone watching who's sitting at home, pay attention to when you like knock something with your toe or like have an extra step or trip over. You'll do it a couple of times a day without realizing. What happens when we're young and capable is you land, you have the foot speed to catch yourself and the lower body strength to catch yourself so that you don't fall over. When we're older, we eventually get to a point where those things diminish and we fall over and we break a hip or we break a shoulder or break an arm or something along those lines. And when that happens, it's the start of the end. Can be the start of the end if we don't rehab and recover properly, because as we get older, our desire to move and exercise and build lower body strength and build foot speed diminishes as well. So we end up finding ourselves in a point where we get weaker and older, and this repeats to a point when we're where we're unable to get off the couch and we're frail and we're able to walk and things like that. So strength training is almost the most important anti-aging implement that you can invest in, but also just movement. It doesn't have to be in a gym. It can be doing things activities of daily life more often or not. That's what's going to improve the quality of life more so than just training in the gym. But yeah, I think everyone, and we talk about losing it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Like, everyone should be getting super strong in their 20s so that they can maintain it in their 30s and 40s and then continue to build on what the foundations that they've produced in their 50s and 60s, and hopefully it allows us to live to 200-300 years old. Good. You guys think anything to add?
Nothing more for me.
Good. All right, Meg. Importance of mental health in sport. It is something that is often overlooked in elite sports. Do you think it was fair? Oh, here we go. Big question. Sorry. Is it something that is often overlooked in elite sports? I think we're getting better to answer that question. Do you think it was fair that Naomi Osaka was fined for not attending a press conference to preserve her mental health?
Depends.
What other ways could they have gone about this? Where do we draw the line between human and professional athlete?
Externally, no. Internally, yes. So from an internal point of view in sport, mental health is well and truly much better looked after than what it had been. Externally, there's still a breakdown that people don't understand. The Naomi Osaka thing, like, absolutely 100% agree. But if she signed something or a contract point of view that she has to do this as part of her contract, then you're liable for that because you've agreed to that. If you know that potentially mental health is something, and especially if you have poor performance or something like that, obviously we don't want to go and talk to people about it. But there needs to be a contextual agreement that if you are Naomi Osaka and you have signed a contract, that needs to be a part of your contract saying, I only do X amount instead of depending on this X, Y, Z. But for me, if you agree to something, you need to follow through with that. And I don't know the background information of that, but that's my opinion on that. From a sport performance athlete point of view, mental health is much better being looked after in the inner circles. Yeah. Externally, there's still lots of external pressure and so many 50-year-old white guys that live in Bundaberg that don't understand most things. And that's kind of my opinion on that.
Yeah. The media will be all like, let's look after mental health, but then they'll go on a witch hunt of a coach until they get sacked, and then they'll celebrate and sit around drinking.
It is interesting. It's like, I don't want to spend too long on it because it's a big topic. But I think that like the outrage machine that the media is, like it drives clicks through outrage, and there'll be, my boy Jackie Ginnivan will be like lambasted all year for being him and for being a ripper footballer, and then he'll come out and say like, this is really affecting my mental health. There'll be a lull for 3 days, and then old mate Dangerfield will come out and rip into him publicly for doing something that Dangerfield did in the same game. So it's like, and the media give it airtime. So I think it's the kind of thing where we are human first, athlete second, but at the end of the day, when being an athlete is your job, like Mitch said, you have obligations to be that person. But I think, I think understanding the person first, which is hard in elite sport and in media, needs to be front of mind always. What and who helped shape your coaching philosophy? My answer is simple. It's every member I've coached, every coach I've read off, but mostly just coaching. Like, more time I spend coaching, the more my philosophy gets shaped and the principles around it grow and be solidified.
Similar answer, and then just other coaches that I look up to and admire, and I feel that they're worth investing in for me to sort of learn a little bit off. Yeah,
it's one of those questions I'm glad is becoming less common. Because like when I talk about philosophies or values or whatever, you're product of your environment. So it's I've been around for 25 years. It's everything that I've done.
I was going to go down that path too. Yeah,
it's the books you read, it's the podcasts you listen to, it's the people you coach, and all those kind of things. Can't win them all. We'll just put a photo of Mitch doing this for the last 10 minutes. All right, finish off. Tips, techniques, processes you've used to improve focus, concentration on a task. Can be within sport or something else like working on a project or studying for an exam.
Blue brain, red brain.
Go on.
And awareness. So we use a concept at the Saints from our psych, mental health guy, well-being. It's a concept that the boys employ and we, as the AFLW, do as well. Blue brain is being consciously aware of your environment and actively thinking, problem-solving, processing. Red brain is the other side of that, is off with the fairies, not currently in the moment. It's a trigger word for us to go, if let's say, I don't know, we go on, a team kicks 5 goals on us. It's like, okay, what are we actually doing? Like, we're probably not processing things. We're probably not thinking. The reason they're on the 5-goal roll is because we're in red brain. Or if we're in a meeting and someone's talking or something like that, it's blue brain, we're concentrating. So for me, I like to simplify it down to that, and I use that for a lot of...
The men's team spent the whole year in red brain.
Just got as far as fucking you did, mate.
Almost.
Just have just as much success. Absolutely none.
A week further.
13 flags.
This year, you said. Don't start that. This year.
Yeah, it's good. That's a really good answer. Like, I think of, so there's a law called Parkinson's law, which basically like things will expand or contract based off how much space or time you give them. So, for example, when they add 3 lanes to the Monash, the congestion doesn't get any better because more people use the Monash because there's more lanes available. Same thing happens for the work we have to do. If we give ourselves, we've got 5 weeks to finish a project, it will take us 5 weeks. So what we can do to improve that factor is we get really clear on our framework for, all right, what's our timeline? When are we going to do this thing? When are we going to complete it? What's it going to look like? And we do that in the planning stage so that we can execute it the way we need to, so that, rather than giving ourselves 5 weeks, do it in a week, and then submit it early so that you can get it done if it's going to take a week.
None of us did that at uni though.
No.
I still don't do that.
It's something you don't learn until 15 years later or 10 years later.
It's coming back to consciousness. It's being in the moment. If something is not pressure from a time point of view, like, I've got time.
Yeah.
Okay, alternatively, you can just get it done and still have extra time to do the things you want to do.
Yeah, and if you don't know that it exists, the Eisenhower matrix is a brilliant way to figure out what task you actually need to put in. It's a 4-square matrix, urgency, importance. You figure out what's urgent and important, do that first. What's urgent but not important, delegate it. What's not urgent, not important, get rid of it. And whatever the other one is, you add it to your to-do list and get it done at some stage where not urgent and important, you do it some stage later. You plan it out. But I think planning and awareness are the two. Lads, good job. Job done.
Been an absolute bloody pleasure.
Any more? If you guys like this, play on. I know I'm pointing to the camera, but the camera's not working anymore. So, Beck's got to learn how to add this on top of it, add some pictures on top of it. But we'll figure it out. Good from you. Good from you both. I like this. I might do another one again in 5 or 6 weeks. Like the good day button for me.
Oh God.
Have a good day.